phone I use for Ubering is gonna die, which is perfect. But I'm gonna queue it up here. I am 3+Kei. I'm here to encourage you to pursue the smile by prioritizing the Lord, your physical health, and persistent education. It looks like I'm looking somewhere that's not the camera, and I don't know how to. Just bear with me. Space right here. It's a Christian channel, but the live stream itself is called The Secret Heart Club. And it's got a song. I'm going to sing it in a minute, but the special thing about the Secret Heart Club is just that it's a bunch of oddball Christians seeking Christ, also who come here, the Christ curious, people who have questions about Christ can get them answered in a collective here. Get support on your faith walk, of course, and we'll celebrate with you. If you just got baptized or, your mom just came to Christ, we want to hear about it. It's a vibe. So anyway, there's a little ditty that kind of like goes with it, a little song, and it goes like this. Welcome to the Secret Heart Club, everyone does a part to bring love, be loved. Hey, we love Jesus at the Secret Heart Club. Okay, that's what we're doing. I've been reading a book. I'm trying to get my life together and make things more congruent. So ideally in my own life, and I would encourage anybody to just like read books, and I've fallen off with that, and it's something that's easy enough to accomplish if I make the time for it. I'm reading a book called Quiet, and it's about introverts. And somebody gave me that book because they thought I could get from a different perspective on people who are not like me. I'm very extroverted and have a suspicion historically toward introverts. Like, why aren't you talking? Why aren't you saying anything? Why do I keep carrying this conversation or whatever? So anyway, I got the book, and what I've been learning is that we're going to hit the Uber button now. What I've been learning is that there has been a carefully crafted, and it's called a culture of personality here specifically in North America. And it historically, like, as people, we used to behave differently. We used to behave in this country anyway with just, and at least from a Western standpoint, like a non-native, non-black folk kind of way. At least from a Western standpoint, just more reserved. Women were quiet. Even in the way of courtship, it was more formal was the wording. People used to behave and act in a more formal manner. And then at some point, do you guys know what happened? Advertisers and all sorts of people decided it would be in our best interest to label the formality, the behavior that was more formal, label it as introversion, and label what basically villainize being shy. And it is so fascinating to me because I can see it, even like protective factors. So for abused children, there are 8 protective factors that help them not get the symptoms of those traumas, like live out the symptoms of trauma, right? And one of those is having an agreeable personality, right? Being like a charming type person. Hi, Brewski. We're not getting on Uber very well at all, are we? Let's get on Uber, press the button. You guys know me. I get to talking. We gotta take it off of, we're not taking people. Okay. We're just doing deliveries. And that's what we're gonna do. Yeah. And so even, like the presidential House of Elk. The presidential statement for youth in, I think it was 1950, was something to the effect of, you know, creating healthy personalities in youth. And the first kind of like instances of advertisers honing in on people creating robust personalities was the soap industry. Not that you should smell good necessarily, but that you should present yourself. There became a focus on how we present ourselves verbally and through aesthetics, all the way up to like they're at the height of it, I think, right, was like the 40s for women, when we had, you've got to wear your makeup, and even when you're a housewife, you've got to wear the crisp dress, and you've got to wear your heels, and the whole like leave it to beaver sort of aesthetic. And the reason why I'm saying this is that once upon a time, people were reserved. And then it was positioned in the late 1800s that extroversion was key to success. And I was talking to a guy I was giving an Uber ride to, and he was saying today everyone has to have the greatest personality because this is how you compete. And when the Industrial Revolution was happening, and like you're in, or excuse me, when the agricultural era was happening and you're just like in your farm or whatever, you don't really need to have this shining personality because you're not competing with anybody. You're not like, there's no purpose. You got your woman, you got your kids, and you're doing this farm stuff, is basically what it was. And then the Industrial Revolution happened at the same time that our school system was starting to be developed. And it was like, well, you can work in these warehouses and stuff. You could be up there in there, or, right, with the right personality, you could now have a white collar job. Fast forward to 2025, part of competing in whatever industry you have, you need to have the personality to go with the experience and the education, right? Your personality matters. And being shy is not the way really to succeed here in North America. And I just found this all right, let's do it. Oh, it's a match. I found this all so fascinating that we've been cultivated toward extroversion. And it's true. I've even, as a social worker, I've told parents with like, here we go, with like shyer kids. Like, you gotta get them at least looking in people's eyes and shaking hands because of friends like you. Join the family today. Call 800-525-5683 or give at klove.com.
Positive, encouraging.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Stop. Okay. The radio wasn't turning off for some reason. Here we go. I just parked behind some like big rig truck randomly. But yeah, guilty. I've definitely told parents, not so forcefully, obviously, but like a shy kid, you gotta you got to get that kind of out of them, you know? And it's really, reading this book, I'm finding like we pathologize things and tell people they're wrong in all sorts of ways, right? And then, as I like to say, we've all been drinking the Kool-Aid. And I never, oh my goodness, I never realized that people's personalities fall into that as well. And so it kind of begs the question, if we've all been told in North America what the proper personality is, like what a good, quote unquote, what a good personality is, it begs the question from a Christian perspective, what is a good Christian personality? Do you know? And it's pretty interesting because this is how we got to this space. Right on Paxson Street. This is how we got to this space in the first place, because your girl has some pipes on her. And I like to laugh loudly. I tend to, not on purpose, and something's really funny, I'll throw my head back and cackle. It's just what it is, you know. However, you don't do these things in church settings, right? Church isn't really like a place where you would like tell jokes like a silly person like me. And so it just kind of is what it is. And then I was talking to Baptized by Fire, if you guys remember. He's the one that coined the term we use, oddball Christians, because he's awkward. He's more, he would be the introvert in right? And so when you think of, this is the interesting thing.
Turn left on Dixon Avenue, then make a slight left turn on Brook Street.
When you think of church personalities, what do you think of? You know, do you think of like the proper ladies with peppermints in their purse? You know, depends on what church you might go to. You might think of like a pastor that, like, oh man, Pastor Tony Carter, Pastor Philip Duncanson, they're at East Point Church in Atlanta, Pastor Philip Anthony Mitchell, depending on where you kind of land, what kind of pastors you're watching. You know, you might think of fiery sermons that convict you with much emotion, right? Or you might think of quietness. That's a thing. You might, hey Allison, you might think of, and Poppy, hey Poppy. You might think of quietness in a church. It's time to be quiet, sit down, right? So it might vary what you think is a good Christian personality, but would you be so surprised if, like, literally everything else, the Lord was gracious enough to give us the answer? Now, I don't know if anyone is capable of doing this. I put the scripture for Galatians 5:22.
Make a slight left turn on Brook Street, then turn right.
Through 24. If you guys would be so gracious as to post it in the chat. I tried to, but it said it was too much. Too much. Never too much, never too much. But basically, ding ding, it's the fruits of the Spirit. But what got me when I was reading Galatians 22 and 23, right? Because that's what we all go toward, is 22 and 23. But 24, that guy looks like Tucker Carlson. But 24 is really, what got me. That woman saw me drive up on the curb. Shout out to her. She didn't make a big deal about it. Okay, I'm gonna go get this food. Before I get the food, actually, I'm gonna pull it up. I gotta tell you guys something before I do. I said I wasn't going to say anything online, but I'm going to say it, and it's very worrisome to me. Off of Amazon last Thursday when the whole thing happened. Oh no, either before or after, but I wasn't thinking about it when I ordered it. I ordered a holster, and it was supposed to come the same day as, come on, Galatians 5. It was supposed to come the same day as my fancy schmancy Bible I ordered. But the holster was delayed by like almost a week right away. And even worse than that, my Bible, they canceled the order and didn't even tell me. Like, it just doesn't show up, this Bible that I ordered. Usually it'll at least show up. And I think that is worrisome. Because it's just like, what happened? Why am I not getting my American things, bro? This is how I always end up losing my patience. I don't want you guys to ever see me in that light. But this is how this happens. Hold on 1 second. Let me go ahead and get this stuff. Okay, I'm back. What are y'all saying here? Okay. Hey, Ben. We got it. Complete the pickup. All right. So the scripture here for the perfect Christian personality, but the fruit of the Spirit. Did somebody? How did that? But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. But here's the other thing, because you're like, how can I possibly do this? All of this? Even the self-control part? But here we go with 24. Those who belong to Christ Jesus have crucified the sinful nature with its passions and its desires. So let's say you are feeling a little lustful, right? You don't have that self-control. I hear a cop, but I can't see a cop. You know when you hear the... Okay, well, whatever. And lock these doors. All these hoodlums out here. What was I saying? Lust and crucifying the flesh. So here's the thing. Either you're on that type of time or not. Either you're on a type of time of confession repentance and asking for forgiveness, or you're not. We're all going to sin. We're all going to, like, do you know what I mean? So it's not saying like, it's saying the ask, or dare I say the plead, in a situation such as for lust, the plead from the Lord, from the Holy Spirit, is in managing self-control. That would be the plea, right? To combat that lust. And in that moment of crucifixion, or excuse me, in that moment of repentance, that's when you're crucifying the flesh. You just might have to continuously do that, but it's the willingness to do it. You understand? Does that make sense? The perfect Christian doesn't exist, which is why we need Christ himself. But the perfect Christian personality is one that actively pursues confession, repentance, and forgiveness. Actively pursues it. I don't know what that means. I have two motorcyclists behind me, and then they just did like a wave. I don't know what any of that means. Does that make sense? That's a good personality. Allison and I have gone back and forth about this. Christians that's, I wouldn't say preach the truth, but speak truthful words that do it in a way that is like not kind, you know, or loving, like takes into account how it's being like received, or the person's feelings or their own temperament or whatever. And so to that, and that's something I'm learning, because I've just been interested in the subject of how, anyway, the point is that the Lord already knows who we are and where we're lacking, you know. And so in that instance, you may be lacking in kindness. You may be lacking in self-control if you're talking to someone crazy, even if the words you're saying are truthful, right? And you may be generous. You may be like constantly giving to a cause or something like that, and you're very generous, but you lack self-control and how much, you know, you're overly generous, so now you're not being a good steward. Doesn't mean you're a bad person, right? It just means this is an area for you to ask the Lord to grow you in, you know. So just to really sum it up, like, if you're in North America and you are either, right, extroverted or introverted, there has been programming. It's so fascinating. I'm so fascinated by the fact that we're all constantly being programmed, and most of us fall into it. Whenever someone's like, no, I think for myself, like I say all the time, here comes something else where it's like, no, Lakeitha, you've been programmed to think that like your type of personality is superior, even if you wouldn't have like recognized it to use these types of words, you know. Who would have thunk it? I'm so interested in knowing all the ways, at least that I've been programmed, and also interested in allowing the Lord to work on me to not judge other people for them being programmed to and not recognizing it, which is a thing. I think more than ever, I get frustrated when people are like, no, yes, like Fox News and CNN, and it's like, bro, bro, you know. I was talking to a woman once, my friend's mom, bless her heart, and I was telling her, like, we women, in North America, we shave ourselves hairless, because we've been told it makes us attractive to men, and then in turn, men never cared, right, prior to whatever 1920 or whatever, and then the media came and was like, this is what, and it's like, well, why did that happen? And it's to sell like perfumes and to sell makeup and to sell razor blades, Gillette, the whole thing of it. And it's just like, she was like, no, I just like having smooth legs. It's like, that's not why at all. Like, you might like it, but like, would you be okay with your husband having smooth legs? No, because we've all been drinking the same Kool-Aid, and it's fine. I shave myself too. You know what I mean? Like, because that's what a lady does. You know, and I'll admit, I'm even a little judgy when I saw a woman with hairy legs yesterday, and I was like, what do you have going on? It's crazy, drinking the Kool-Aid. And it's like every aspect of our life. Buying a house, I was watching that. You could live in an apartment, and I don't know the ins and outs of it, right? But they're saying, like, you can live in an apartment and then take what you would be paying for a mortgage, take that difference and invest it into whatever, and over the same amount of time, you know, it all kind of flushes out. It's like, yeah, okay. And then you are not tethered to one area, and you can go to Argentina, you can fly to Argentina tomorrow because your money is, you invested well, or however that plays out. Like, it's just so fascinating, you know. There's this, I just watched a YouTube short. I just watched a YouTube short, a guy, a car salesman, and he was like, and it has to be true because the comments were so like on point, and I was even like, yeah, I think I see that. But they said, okay, according to the races, like, what do black people buy? And these are like new cars. He's like, oh, what do black people buy? And he was like, this. What do Hispanics buy? New. And he's like, oh, hold on. What do Hispanics buy? 37. Speaking of, what do white people buy? And so he's naming off like the cars. He's like, what do Asians buy? I don't know if I want to be in here. Sometimes you just, oh, it's one of these. You can tell people by their license plate. This guy's a Marine. One person's a Marine, and the other person has like a nature. This is so stereotypical. Another person has a nature license plate, so I am safe. I'm in a safe area. All right. Yeah. So, oops. Complete delivery. So anyway, and then like they went through the races, and he was like, hold on. There we go. And like everybody is like, black guy here, that's accurate. Hispanic guy, white guy here, super accurate. And it was like Asian guy. It was like the funniest thing. And it's kind of like, when you think about it, like, how did we all, right? Even as like races, like a collective, however, like 100 million each of us there are, like collectively, we're kind of like, this is what we'll drive, because it's all programming. It's, really interesting, you know. And I don't, it's not even that it's necessarily right or wrong. Like, programming is how you build loyalty to, you know, whatever, a brand. You think this brand, I was gonna take you guys to Walmart with me because I have like Ivory soap right now, which if you're of a certain age, is a pudgy terrier. I've never seen such a thing. I don't know where I'm going. I'm off in this neighborhood. Like, I low-key want to live in this neighborhood. Because it's so chill. If I could swing my camera around, or let's see, is anybody behind me? Here, I'll swing my camera around. Oh, that's a pretty house too. Can I do it? Can you guys see? You guys can like ride with me. Sorry. This is my metal. Oh, that's not helpful, is it? Oh, and now there's a car behind me. Maybe if I do this, you can see better. You can see a little bit. Let me get back to a main street. And for those of you who are new here, this is Montana. So here is a huge range, and this is why it's amazing to live here. Look at this range. Heck yeah! Let's go. Or no, let's go ahead and stay. Let's just stay here forever, you know. But yeah, programming isn't necessarily bad. You just gotta gain loyalty. Oh, that's what I was saying. Ivory soap. If you are of a certain age, Ivory soap was like what you desired to get. Because it was does anybody remember? It was something that it was like made with real milk. You guys remember that from the 80s? Some kind of marketing to make you feel like it was like the purest clean. You know, something like that. Anyway, I got nostalgic, bought myself some Ivory soap, and you know, I've got really dry skin, and that Ivory is terrible. And maybe that's why my mom didn't get it. I would have thought maybe we couldn't afford it or something, but shout out to you know, Mama Dukes not getting me on that Ivory soap. Anyway, I need to go to the store and get myself some soap, and all of it, right, is like, it's gonna tell me something. Oh, let's see, this is the wildlife. I'm hungry. Is everybody behind me? Oh, that is nice. They have a nice yard. I'm trying to get somewhere where I can pull over, or maybe just be a little closer to a place. This is nice, isn't it? I will tell you, I think I'm going to take you guys on Ubering with me a little bit more often. I have a goal, and again, for those of you watching, we're in Montana, so ain't nobody trying to really be slipping and sliding in these streets when the snow hits. And for that, then my time is limited doing Uber, and I really need to kind of stack it up as much as possible. What's that guy doing? He just, whenever guys just kind of like walk up and look around and put their hands on their hips, it's like, what are we doing, bro? Like, whatever you got going on, I don't want, you know, men who put their hands on their hips are trouble. Nothing but trouble. Like, sir, what are you observing? What are you observing, Thomas? Are we going to make this light? No, and we're not going to make it on purpose. You know why? Because I want to know what you guys are saying. Somebody Allison, keep your eyes out for the police. Okay. Laura Poppy says, bring me food. I wish. Poppy says, you'd pay less on a mortgage than rent. Yeah. I'm going to let that lapse. Got approved for more, and it's kind of like, what I would like to do is get a mortgage, not for like what's comfortable. I would like to get a mortgage that matches my rent. And then I'm okay with however many bedrooms or whatever kind of like come with it. Because ain't nobody trying to, like, let me turn this around. You know what I mean? Like, if I can afford a $2,000 mortgage, it's kind of like, do I want to put myself in a position to have to work more or not? Because I have a bunch of jobs, but if we considered my bunch of jobs income, that means I'm going to forever like have to be working that amount. And it's like, if we just did my 9 to 5, like social work income, it'll get me a lot less, sure. But also, if ever I was like, I don't want to work on the food truck, or I don't want to do Uber, then I truly just like don't have to. And it makes room for promotions, and now I have extra money, and do you know what I mean? Trying to do it the smart way. I'm so hungry. I'm gonna tell you guys a secret. Well, I have a secret. I'm gonna tell you guys what it is in like 2 weeks, because I don't want to spoil it. But you know what would be like stupid tasty is some. Oops, I forgot this was on. I was going home. You want to do it? Let's do it. This is what happened yesterday, isn't it? It got close to 8 and I was like highly regretful of my decision to keep Uber. Isn't this exactly what I feel like this is? Why, Ben, why did you stop me? Here we go. That's my bad. That is my bad. Let's turn the rest of them off. You can stop new request. I didn't mean to do that. I forgot what I was talking about. I forgot what I was talking about. It's okay. There's the old homeless shelter. We had 2 homeless shelters, guys. And one was like, the one I worked at for 4 years is part of like, I don't know what you guys know about social workers or like how we do our thing. So some social workers, they go to school, and no shade at all. They're just book learned. They learn in their book, and then they say, and I have a particular aversion to it. There's a concept called motivational interviewing that you're supposed to like talk to clients in this fashion. And the purpose of motivational interviewing, you can see it. It was a pretty high performing video I did. I got over 3,000 views on that video. Motivational interviewing is a manner of speaking with a client to elicit change talk. So you don't want to like tell somebody they need to do something or that they need to change. You want to basically manipulate them into thinking it was their idea. Manipulate, depending on who you're talking to, is very strong wording. But to me, I would rather, like, if you're insistent on doing something, and I want you, I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know if there's a thing in life that I want somebody to do. Like, if you're in addiction, I don't know that and just hear me out, because I'm kind of like talking it through, and so it's probably going to be clippable, whatever I'll say. But it's not that I like really want you to be done with your addiction, because at the end of the day, like, that's like you know, like that's a tip that you are on. And I'm not sure I'm not convinced that it is something that I, Lakeitha, am going to say to you to get you to do this thing, right? And in the way of having desires for people, what comes to mind is like when I'm telling people about Jesus Christ, and I'm like, so a motivational interviewer using the gospel, that would be a very effective, I think, technique, maybe. Asking questions, asking open-ended questions, playing out scenarios, kind of like, I have no idea where I'm at. I'm gonna go here. I don't know, like, where we might be at. Let's see what happens. I don't know. I think I lean more toward, like, telling people about my own experience. I think that's kind of convicting, actually, because I don't think I tell my whole experience, like my whole entire testimony, which I think may be pretty powerful if people knew, like, all the things. And I did this, and then that. I say it sometimes in, like, little snippets, you know? Especially these interviews. These interviews will get me, because I'll be talking to somebody and they'll be like, and then I stole a guinea pig. And I'm like, girl, me too. I stole 3 guinea pigs every Tuesday. But God. So, yeah. Anyway, still not a fan of motivational interviewing. Really upset, not really upset, but, like, really annoyed when people use motivational interviewing on me as if I don't know what's really going on. But my point is, I don't think you yourself can ever change another person. I don't think it's because of a person somebody changes. Outside, I think an exception might be when women have children. I've definitely seen women come out of addiction quick, fast, and in a hurry when they got pregnant. I'll be right back. Thank you, you're so sweet. This lady is so sweet. She's like, do you need help? Because your girl was, like, struggling for a second. All right. Okay, we got this. And, 17 minutes. We'll see how this goes. On Parkwood. I think we're going to the trailer, or not the trailer, what do you call it? Camper site? Sir, do you have... He says meet him at his door. This was a mistake. Let's read the next one. And eventually not have to pay, but once a year for property taxes, right? That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, and even the whole concept of property taxes, our mayor, who is pretty, I think, conservative, even in the way of raising property taxes. I'm looking at these, every time she raises the property taxes, I'm like, okay, but how does that translate to what I got going on? You know, what's the money? Don't run over these
0.9 mile,
kids.
make a slight left turn on Stevens Avenue using the left lane.
Don't run over the kids. Okay. Don't run over the kids. Don't run over the kids. We didn't. Don't run over the kids. Honk, honk. Okay. I don't know what we were talking about. Oh, and property taxes. Yeah. That ain't right either. You know? I'm always reading. I was like so interested in like how people are comprehending things or what the mindset might be behind it. And it, this homeless guy, he's talking about, he's like, you should just be able, right, to go off into the woods, especially if you're not, you're not hurting anybody or whatever. You should just be able to just pick a woods and pop a tent up and like be able to do that. And it's like, yes, but all land belongs to somebody. I think like if we could do that, it's not a cheat code, right? It's not a cheat code. That thought process is really like, the thought process is, how do I get away with having no bills? And it's like, that just doesn't really exist. Like somebody has to pay for it, and even if you think you're not taking from society, like you're not on government benefits, the homeless shelters where you get your free food or whatever, like it's all supported by local, state, and federal taxes. So like it's still like, it's not, food isn't free. There's a good argument that like it should be, like you should be able to pick a piece of fruit off a tree in a park. I think that there's a good argument for that. But also, and I don't know if this is reality or more programming, but if people didn't have to
make a slight left turn on Stevens Avenue,
pursue their food, or, as for the purposes of this conversation, pursue their resources, if they didn't, bro, like, you ever see somebody driving so slow and you're like, they're making the car that's all the way behind them catch up with them? You just look at them. I swear that I encounter that so frequently. So frequently. But anyway, yeah, people, if they didn't have resources to pursue, would they do anything? Or here's a better way to phrase it. If people didn't have to pursue resources, mainly like money to buy the food and all this sort of stuff, if they didn't have to, what would they do with their time? And I can tell you this, I don't know if it translates, you guys see how much I work and like what I do during my day. Like you might see me at the gym, boom, 2.5 hour workout that I'm live streaming. You haven't seen me yet. If I could clean my kitchen, you would see me. I cook my food every day, so that takes up time. I have a walk pad and a treadmill and a home gym to maximize like my body's movement and this kind of thing. I work a 9 to 5. I do Uber.
South Orange Street.
I shoot commercials. I shoot interviews. Like I live stream every day. Like I read. You know, I'm a pretty industrious person. The people around me would probably say I'm like the most like structured and industrious person that they know. I always have something going on, somebody said. And in 2020, from July 2020, was it? No, was it? No, from March 2021 to September 21. So March 21, so I don't know how much time that is. Oh, y'all are going to be waiting there forever. Ben, there's these people waiting at this crosswalk over by McCormick Park where they haven't put the lights in yet. I don't know why they think just because there's a crosswalk there, somebody's about to stop for them. So for those of y'all who, this is a terrible, terrible thing, but people keep dying right where they're about to put a light there, but they haven't yet. People keep dying at that intersection. They keep getting run over. So they're going to put a light there, but as far as they've gotten is to put a crosswalk there. And these two poor fools are waiting at the crosswalk. I could barely see it. Like, nobody's going to see you. And even if they saw you, that's not a place to stop yet, which is why people keep getting killed there. Not for nothing. I don't know why I could have not said any of that. I'm so sorry. I forgot what I was talking about. Here it is. What time is it? 7:59. It's like clockwork. 8 o'clock. Do you guys see why I moved the time for this from 7 to, or from 8 to 7? I am like,
a quarter mile, continue straight through the roundabout onto North Orange Street.
This was the worst idea. And we still, it's to say, we were talking about property taxes. The last, I hope you guys are talking to each other in here while I'm out here.
Continue straight through the roundabout onto North Orange Street.
Oh, I was talking about being industrious. What would people do if they had time? So yeah, March 21. I don't know if I'm supposed to be. March 21 to September 21, I had no job. And honestly, COVID was March 2020, and my job went online. And I became a para educator. So I went from working however many hours, and then all of a sudden I was working like 2 hours a day is all it was, which allowed me obviously to move across the country. So I wasn't doing much then either. And what I do with my time when I could do anything and I had the savings and the money to like do whatever I wanted to do, pretty quick. Well, I'll tell you, in the way of non-job stuff, I took up martial arts. I helped with any kind of like church cleaning projects, like cleaning houses or cleaning the neighborhood or whatever. I kind of like took that up. I went into the woods due to anxiety, like all the time. I would go into Atlanta. I would try different foods. So I really just enjoyed myself. And then around July, or no, in August. So I went 3 months of just like when I had all of my finances taken care of, what I chose to do with my time was go hiking and eat food. And I'm not saying, and this is me, like a hyper industrious person. It created laziness, or not lazy, I don't know. What is it called? Like pursuit of pleasure? And like fulfillment. I just sought to fulfill my kind of like immediate needs. It didn't occur to me to like make a great masterpiece of art or whatever, like really contribute in any particular way.
Right exit 101 toward US. Highway 93 South Reserve Street, Hamilton. Then turn right on Grand Creek Road.
Oh, we're going to Grant Creek. I'm going to spin this around in a second for you guys. Grant Creek is one of the most expensive neighborhoods.
Turn right on Grand Creek Road.
I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but let's go. Hold tight. It might. This is another mountain. I don't know what mountain this is, but I'll tell you, it's the Bluebird Preserve, and it's our newest trail. Oh, there's some deer. Yeah. So anyway, what I'm saying is, like, I don't know if when we stop paying for things, if we become better people. I would probably want to see. I'm open to that concept. But also in North America, that's also like not an option to not have to work for your food in like major way. Oh, I don't know if you guys can really. Let's see. Let's try to. There we go. This neighborhood, when I think about the James House, which is the group home I want to start, looking what you're looking at, but buses don't come out here. There's no type of, and so basically when you're thinking about like group homes and like for teenagers and the fact that teenagers run away is a big thing. A factor is location, right? And just kind of getting in trouble. Like if they're close to town, right, then it increases the likelihood that they'll meet up with other boys who are not on their faith journeys, and all that can come with that. Oh, we're barely gonna make it. We got 7% on the Uber phone, 10% on this phone right here. And we're getting there. I am so hungry. I've got. Howdy do. As if you've been waiting for me. Oh, down here, over here. All right, Scott. All right. Complete delivery. We are done.
Here's the deal. Perla and some friends in San Antonio, Texas are willing to double every monthly gift up to $5,000 for the next 10 minutes.
What?
So I'm going to give you the phone number.
Thank you.
I'm going to give you the website. I'm going to believe in this moment that you are going to activate your gift with so many others having their best monthly gift doubled as well. 10 a month, double. 30 a month, double.
Super whip, so it would float was one of their claims. Oh, sorry. Hold on one second. Let me. I think I'm listening to K-Love and trying to get up out this
Need somebody to do that if you can.
Driveway.
You ready for this moment? This is going to be an explosion. I believe in the phone center. The web team's going to be like, what?
Okay.
Klove.com. KLOVE.com. Get ready. Just type that in. Go to the giving page. Okay. And get ready with
Super whipped, so it would float. Was one of their claims. What were we talking about? That sounds interesting. Super whipped. Wow. Oh, don't you do, don't. It was a deer. I swear, this is what I'm saying. I think they do that on purpose. I really think they do that on purpose sometimes. Not every time, you know. I don't want to deer blame or anything, but he was like running at the pace of my vehicle. Talking about I'm across the street. No, sir. Not today. Or actually, yes, because I actually don't have time for insurance claims. And it's Montana. The insurance won't pay for your little deer accident. Should have said, they would be like, you should have saw that deer plotting on your whole life. Hey, this is still the area. I think it's very interesting where those really nice houses were. The internet shut off, like the Wi-Fi, or what is it? Your data? I don't know. You guys know better than me. Whatever. So you still get internet when you're not at home or in a building. That shut off as soon as I entered a really nice part of that neighborhood. Kind of like for every time, because I'm working it, somebody was like, oh, are you going to dress up for it? I'm sure I must be like confusing to some people, because I bet I seem like somebody. You know what I would do? One time, my pouty teenage daughter, oh dang it, can you see me? Hold on. Okay. This is what we're doing. My pouty teenage daughter, I had a poetry. It was a poetry thing I was invited to. I was mentoring this girl who was an amazing rapper. And unfortunately, things went left for her. It's like really an instance of not having the right people around you. But I was mentoring her at the time, and she was still like she was in between. She wanted to be like a little thug, so she had started carrying a gun and like pointing it at people and smoking weed and like all this stuff. And so three different people were like, hey, can you mentor her? Because I also used to be I was not like a thug, but you know when you're just young and impressionable and you just be doing anything. I was really just kind of like that, just wild. And so they thought that, and then grew out of it. They thought I would be a good fit for her. But anyway, she also was she had a heart for the disabled community, and so she volunteered her time at some disabled program. And her being such a good lyricist, she put on a little poetry show. And me, you know, being a poet extraordinaire, you know what I'm saying? She invited me to attend and, say a couple things. And so my pouty, how old was she? 15, 16-year-old was like, I'm not going, blah, 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 blah. And I had a rule, and I mean, some of you guys aren't going to understand this, but my kids came to me through the foster care system. So if you would think about it not through the lens of maybe your own kids or your own experience, nobody was allowed to be unsupervised at home alone until we went through a process where it was like you could be trusted. And Ben can vouch for me because the oldest still snuck boys in, still when I wasn't home, and would run away at night and like all this stuff, right? And it was for the safety of them. But anyway, it was like, girl, you gotta come on. And anyway, she was like, I'ma only go, because she thought I was gonna say no, if I can, she either said if she can go in her pajamas and her onesie, or she would go if I wore my onesie. Either way, ain't no thing, say less. And so we rolled up. I remember I had a fox onesie on, a onesie with a bunch of foxes on it, with the fur tail and everything. Don't play with me. So I don't mind doing things like that, but like dressing up in like a cosplay kind of, I mean, do you, right? It's just probably not something, like the likelihood I would dress up for Halloween or a themed, like if something has a theme, I probably won't, unless it's like I could wear a basic color just to kind of participate. But I ain't buying nothing. With whose money? I'm not dressing up for a Renaissance fair. I ain't got Renaissance money. And then what happens if I dress up in a Renaissance outfit? What do I get? What do I get, Sway? Anyway, I'ma show up and I'ma work tomorrow. Zainab, you're back. Hey, Zainab. Poppy says property taxes shouldn't be a thing either. I know, that's right. Ben said it'll be dark at 5 soon. Yeah, Ivory soap. Oh, Ivory soap. It was whipped, super whipped, so the cream floated to the top or whatever. Yeah. Ain't nobody. Y'all want to go to Taco Bell with me? See how the switch up happened? Who said that? We're not going to Taco Bell. You know why? Because we have chicken. We have defrosted chicken at home. Okay? I don't care how tasty you think a chicken quesadilla would be. Okay? I don't care how tasty you think it would be. We're not really doing that. Have time. Do we have time to go to Taco Bell? That's really the question. How are you guys doing? And what y'all got going for the weekend? And do you work hard? Do you guys think you work hard? And do you think you could work harder? Or do you think you need to work less? Because I'm gonna tell you this. The friends I have, like I have two kinds of friends. And for the most part, everybody's kind of settled in life. Basically, most of my friends are either social workers or entrepreneurs. The social workers, as in the therapist ones, so a therapist makes about 6 figures a year, maybe a little less, depending on how hard you work. And some of the entrepreneurs that got started earlier, they say now that we're in our 40s that they're just kind of like settling in, you know, like they did the work and then now they're just kind of in maintenance mode. And then there's another group, entrepreneurs who are just they just replace their income. And so they're cool. Not everybody wants to be a millionaire. I think that's an important thing. People don't understand that. And people that are bitter about being broke and talk about billionaires and stuff like that, it's like a billionaire is really in rare form. And I think it's one thing to be upset. I don't even know about upset. Like, bro, I got bills. Talking about upset about what the next person's doing. But I mean, I see being like concerned maybe about the integrity of how you came to your billions, right? Like, I can see kind of like being concerned about that. But people who are like, eat the rich and da 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 da, it's a little like, and like I say, in 10 years, this might age poorly. Like, I'm open to that. This might age very poorly, and in 10 years, I'm broker than I am today, right? The other thing, though, could be in 10 years, you do see me with the matte royal purple G-Wagon with my face on the side and a money phone held up to my ear while I do the emoji face. Like, you might see that too. Ain't nobody trying to be broke for life. You know, and so all I'm saying